All right, so I take this chance to again welcome you here. My name is Nabende Adam, like I earlier said. Uh, the all information about me is there, and these sessions are sponsored by Holistic Learning Platform. And for today, we are going to go through transport systems in animals. We are going to delve deep into how materials are transported in animals. And this, of course, isn't just from the blues. You have ever heard about this before, right from primary. You learned about how materials are transported in humans, specifically where you drew the heart. You talked about the digestive system. You talked about the 7 life processes in Form 1 in the first term. So it is from there that we build this. We learned that after eating the cassava, for example, the body cell shall not need the cassava in the way it is, but shall be broken down further by digestive system. And then after being broken down further to the substance which is wanted, glucose, that glucose will have to be transported from the digestive system to a particular cell, for example, in the brain, that needs the glucose to make energy for it to function. So meaning, if you don't have the transport system, much as you're hungry and you have eaten the cassava, it won't be able to reach a particular part that needs it. So that's why we need the transport system. And all living organisms need the transport system. Just like previously, you must have covered about the transport in plants. But for today, we are going to mainly focus on the transport in animals. So for the next 2 hours, we shall be talking about how materials are transported in animals. So we shall start with the first part of the lesson here, which is the surface area to volume ratio, the unseen power of size. Sometimes we take this for granted, so you've never questioned why, for example, you can never grow as big as an elephant, or why a rat can never grow as big as a leopard, for example. The essence behind that is, of course, our genes control that. That's why you can never have a human growing so big to the level of an elephant, because you have genes playing that role. But in line with that, you must have ever wondered why small organisms can survive without lungs or heart, while larger ones can't. So we know that smaller organisms like we learned about this 5 kingdoms in the first term of in senior one. We learned about the 5 kingdoms and we learned about the Monera, where we had single-celled bacteria. The bacterium is very small, it's a small organism. Therefore, because it is small, it will not need a complex transport mechanism to transport its materials from one point to another. So, but for large organisms, take an example of a cow. Such an organism needs a complex transport mechanism to transport materials from one part to another. And the answer lies in fundamental biological principles that underline the concept. So we should understand how efficient an organism can exchange substances with its environment. So that's why we should have to understand the meaning of surface area to volume ratio. So let's go through what surface area to volume ratio means. So surface area refers to the total outer boundary of an object. For example, if we are talking about the surface area of a human being, we refer to the whole part of the outside of you. That is the surface area. Then the volume ratio is the space it occupies. So that space you occupy as a whole or within you, of course, the space which you're occupying is the space within you. That's the one we refer to as the volume. And so for living organisms, the surface area is crucial for absorbing nutrients and oxygen and releasing waste products. Volume, on the other hand, relates to the total metabolic needs of the organism's cells. For us to quickly comprehend this, Like we talked about surface area and volume ratio. And this one plays a very crucial role in transporting materials or excreting materials from the body. Why? If the particular organism is very large in size, then it will definitely mean such an organism will need also more materials for it to survive. For example, the food which you can give to a 10-year-old might not be the same amount of food you can give to a baby. Because the baby is small, they will definitely eat little food. But when someone has grown, they will definitely eat more food. Why? Because as they are growing, their volume is increasing, meaning their needs also increase. And then we ask a very good question here, that why small organisms rely on diffusion. We talked about small single-celled organisms like bacterium, protozoa, uh, or even smaller multicellular organisms, the smaller ones. You can think about smaller worms and insects. These ones, of course, when an organism is small, it has a large surface area to volume ratio. And when an organism is big, like an elephant, it has a small surface area to volume ratio. Now, that one is a bit confusing, I know, and we are going to practically do it towards the end of this session. So, this allows them to rely on simple diffusion. So, because the organism is small in size, it will have a large surface area to volume ratio, meaning that organism can easily transport its materials by simple diffusion. And anytime we talk about diffusion here, diffusion is passive, or it doesn't need any energy. Meaning materials here are simply crossing from one side to another, just using the different gradients or the different concentrations of materials on either side. So to get everything, they need directly through their skin or cell membrane. No complex systems are needed. So for small organisms, they don't need a complex system. Why? Because they are already small in size. And when an organism is small in size, it has a large surface area to volume ratio. And I said this concept, I'm going to do it. We are going to together do it here our activity here for us to best understand why small organisms like if you're comparing two organisms, let's say a rat and an elephant, we shall say a rat has a large surface area to volume ratio, while an elephant has a small surface area to volume ratio. So we shall practically do that wherever we shall be. And then why large organisms need transport systems? So as organisms get larger, their volume increases much faster than their surface area. So this means diffusion alone can't supply enough nutrients or oxygen to all cells, nor can it efficiently remove all wastes. So we say that as an organism increases in size as it grows, it often becomes so big that such an organism also need a complex transport mechanism to have its materials transported from one point to another. Meaning, for large organisms, they cannot rely only on the simple diffusion, but rather they will have to get a complex mechanism through which materials can be transported from one point to another. So this is why large animals, including humans, have evolved intricate transport systems like the circulatory system. So the reason as I brought in this aspect of surface area to volume ratio was for us to understand why is it that humans, who are large organisms, need a complex transport mechanism through the circulatory system to transport materials, while small organisms don't actually need it. And within what we have been covering here, we're supposed to get a better picture of that. Also, if you want more clarification, you'll have to put up the hand because I not check the chat room. So we have an activity here. I hope you're paying attention. So let's visualize this with the cubes. So we know cubes very well. Cubes are having 6 sides, and of course, a cube has all its sides equal. Okay, so we are going to make 2 cubes. I hope you can draw them there. A cube. One is smaller and the other is bigger. So we can label them, I think let's label them rat, draw a smaller cube, a smaller one, a smaller cube. Then for elephant, I think let's use human for us to easily understand. So the smaller cube is rat, then larger cube is human. Have we drawn that? I've said draw a smaller cube, a six-sided polygon. So the smaller one, let's call it rat, and then the bigger one, human. Now, the length of for the length, remember all sides are equal. So the length, let's say for the rat is 1 centimeter. For the rat is 1 centimeter. And then for the human, 2 centimeters. Two centimeters. Then, so I want us to get the surface area to volume ratio. So let's start with the surface area. You remember our formula of area? Our formula of area is length times width. Length times width. So can we calculate the area for a rat? Meaning shall be area equals length times width. And since the cube has all sides equal, so shall say that area equals 1 times 1. Therefore, the answer shall be 1 centimeter squared. And then we go to the human. Area equals length times width. For example, or side times side, since it is a cube. Then it shall mean that area shall be equal to 2 times 2. Meaning the area there for the human shall be 4 square centimeters. Have we got that? All right, so let's go to surface area. Remember, surface area, we remember I define surface area as the area of the whole outside of the organism. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so surface area, surface area means the area of the whole. Okay, let me hear from this one. I hope such that I identify if we are really following up. Oh, okay. Martha, you're the host. Maybe you will unmute these ones. Those are putting up the hands. Martha? I hope Martha is on. They are the hosts, and of course, I can't unmute these ones. Okay. Yes, Trisley. Yes, you. I can hear you. Okay, what were you saying? Okay, so let's continue with surface area. People are putting up their hands here. I hope you can unmute them. Host.
So
Okay,
I'm
Nengi.
unmuting them.
Yes, I hear you talk.
Um, so I wanted to ask, is this where like we get, for example, the surface area? Is it 6 into length times width?
Exactly, but I'd first began with area, then we were going to now
Eh. Okay.
surface area.
Just asking.
Yes, please.
So you are requesting for the definition of surface area or
No, I want us to calculate and find out small organisms have a large surface area to volume ratio and large organisms have a small surface area to volume ratio. That's why we're doing that calculation.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Is that all? Nico? Host, please unmute Nico.
Teacher, my main
Yes.
question right now is I'm just from logging in and I'm somehow lost. What are you discussing about? The definition of surface area or how to find surface area of small organisms and large organisms?
Exactly. We want to find why small organisms have a large surface area to volume ratio and why large organisms have a small surface area to volume ratio. So that's why we are following doing that calculation.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
All right. Okay, I think I can now proceed. So we had got the area for a rat, which was 1 square centimeters, and then we had got the area for a human, which was 4 square centimeters. So we're going to surface area now. And we say that since it is a cube, I mean surface area, like by definition here, we say it refers to the whole area outside. So for us to get the whole area outside, we have to get this, which are 6 for the cube. So shall we say 6 times the area for the rat. And then also for the human, 6 times the area. So if we are doing for the right meter, it shall be 6 times 1, which shall give us 6 square centimeters. And then if we are doing for the human, it shall be 6 times 4, which shall give us 24 square centimeters. I hope we have written that now. Then, so for surface area, we've got it, but we have not got the volume. So for the volume is simply uh, using our primary knowledge, it is length times width times height. But this is a cube, so we shall say side times side times side. In that case, it shall be for the rat, it shall be 1. There is someone who was not muted. Host, maybe you can save that. Perfect. So for the rat shall be 1 times 1 times 1, which gives us 1 centimeters cubed. Then for the human shall be 2 times 2 times 2, which shall give us 8. Yes, Ronald? Host? Okay, Ronald went off? Okay, it's okay. So for the rat shall be 1, while for the human it shall be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which shall give us 8. Host, maybe you help me animate those ones who raise up the hands so that I respond to their queries immediately before I proceed.
Teacher, I beg you
Yes.
repeat the surface area.
Yes, please.
I beg you repeat surface. I beg you
Yes.
repeat surface area.
I do what?
I beg you repeat. You repeat surface area.
Surface area. Okay. Okay, let me finish it up, then I'll repeat it, okay? I'll repeat it because I'm sure you must have joined a bit later. Anytime we repeat, it will be boring. No one's who came early and maybe they will not even capture. So let me finish, then I'll go through it for the second time. So we had got the volume for a rat. It was 1 cubic centimeters, and then for man it was 8. Oppo. You have a question? Okay. When you're unmuted, then you will talk. I'll listen. So we have got that. So since we have got the surface area and the volume, now we can get the surface area to volume ratio. And since it is surface area to volume ratio, it means that surface area divided by volume. Let's start with the rat. The rat will got the surface area as 1 centimeter squared. And then for the volume it was 1 cubic centimeters. Meaning if you divide, the answer shall be 1 cubic centimeters power negative 1. While for the rat, it shall be, our surface area was, remember, was 4. Then our volume was 8. So it shall be 4 divided by 8. And the answer shall be 0.5 or a half. So with that, you realize that a rat is having a large surface area to volume ratio of 1, while a human is having a smaller surface area of a half. And that's what I wanted to. So we at that rate, we can now understand why we say that small organisms have a large surface area to volume ratio, while large organisms have a smaller surface area to volume ratio. I'll briefly go through for those people who came a bit late, like someone who just asked a question. So we took a scenario. We wanted to do this activity of understanding why small organisms have a large surface area to volume ratio and large organisms have a smaller surface area to volume ratio. We took an example of 2 cubes, which we considered to be a rat, the smaller cube being a rat, and the larger cube being a man or a human being. So we say that for us to determine the surface area to volume ratio, we should assign the figures for the length of the sides. So we say that the cube, remember cubes have all their sides equal. So we said for the cube of the rat, we gave it 1 centimeter. And in the cube of a human being, we gave it 2 centimeters. So we went ahead to calculate the area of the cubes. Then of course, area equals length times width. Meaning the area for the cube which was representing a rat was 1 times 1. Therefore ending up giving us the area of 1 centimeter squared. While the cube for man was 2 times 2, therefore giving us the area of 2. Therefore giving us the area of 4. But however, we said that we should get the surface area. Therefore, for us to get the surface area by definition here means the area of the whole outside. And the cube has 6 sides. So it said for us to get the 6 sides, it should be 6 times 1, which was the area, giving us the surface area of 6. And then for man, we said that 6 times the area, where the area was 4. So meaning there the surface area is 24. Okay, so surface area for the rat is 6, while the surface area for the man or for the human being is 24. So meaning we had got the surface area, but we had not got the volume. For us to get the volume of the cubes for a rat, it would be, remember for the rat it had 1 centimeter. So for the rat it would be 1. Remember, for us to get the volume, it is length times width times height. But since that is a cube, we can say side times side times side. So we shall say side times side times side for the rat shall be 1 times 1 times 1. Therefore, giving us the volume of 1 cubic centimeter. While for man, it shall be 2 times 2 times 2. Therefore, giving us the volume of 8. So, since we have got the surface area and we have got volume for the rat and man, or human being, we can proceed to get the surface area to volume ratio. So it's that the surface area to volume ratio means surface area divided by volume. So if we start with the rat, remember the surface area for the rat was 6, and then the volume was 1. Therefore, surface area to volume ratio shall be 6 divided by 1. Therefore, giving us the answer of 6. While for the human being, the surface area we got it as 24, and then we are dividing it with the volume, which was our volume was 8. So it shall be 24 divided by 8, and the answer shall be 24 divided by 8. What shall the answer be? Shall be around 4. So you can make that, and then you identify for me the animal which is having a larger surface area to volume ratio. Okay, so I see this, but definitely, okay, someone can, definitely the host can unmute someone person, maybe we get an interaction over it before we can proceed to another part. Put up the hand. Oh, it is 3 actually, yeah? It is 3. Yes? Hansen, I don't know how I wish the host can make me the host as well. Okay, Hansen, yes?
The rat will have a larger surface. Will have a larger surface area compared. The rat will have a larger surface area of 6 compared to that of a human, which has 3.
Good. So that by doing that, we understand how the aspect of surface area to volume ratio works. Yes. Nate?
Teacher, the
Yes?
the volume for what? The volume is measured in centimeters cubed and area is measured in centimeters squared. But how
Yes.
can we divide the surface area, which is centimeters cubed, and the volume of a rat, and volume, which is 10 meters cubed, yet surface area 10 meters squared?
Come again.
How do you divide surface area, which is 10 meters squared, divide by volume, which is 10 meters cubed?
Oh, so you're finding hardship with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for units, the units for surface area to volume ratio is centimeter power -1. You know, when we are crossing 2, we have 2 squared centimeters up, down there are 3. So when we cross using the law of indices, if the power is down, when you bring it up, it gets a negative.
Become negative.
Yeah, that's mathematics, yes. So it
Okay,
is
thank
still
you,
okay.
teacher.
All right.
Thank you, teacher.
All right. Okay, I think we can proceed. Okay, there is name. Oh, I admitted the wrong person. Okay, Neng.
So, like, the thing about the -1, like, when you're saying, for example, when the power goes up, it means that when you answer that and the number, for example, it was for the human, it was 0.5. Is it also -1?
No, really. What was what was your surface area for human?
Human is 0.5. No,
No,
no, the
surface
surface
area.
area. Surface area. Oh, it's 24.
Then what was your volume?
It was 8.
Then the surface area to volume ratio is 24 divided by 8. What's the answer? 24 divided by 8. Isn't the answer 3, right?
3.
Yes, 3. The only thing which is coming up is on the units, whereby up it was a centimeters squared and then down was cubic centimeters. And we are following the laws of indices. It said when the power is down and you're taking it up, it gets a negative. I know you can explain that very well in math. Okay. So the unit has no problem. The whole thing I wanted was for us to understand why large organisms have a smaller surface area to volume ratio, which we have clearly known that it is 3 for human, and then why small organisms have a large surface area to volume ratio, which was a rat with 6. That's the aspect I wanted you to note. Okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. So I can now proceed. So for us to put this into context, we can give an example of a tick and cattle. So consider a small tick and a large cow in Uganda. So a tick can breathe directly through its body surface, like we know they can use any surface. I mean, the surface to breathe. But for a cow, it needs a complex mechanism of lungs, of the heart to transport oxygen and nutrients to the massive body cells. So this real-world example highlights the importance of surface area to volume ratio in different organisms. So before you can cross to the second part, I'll satisfactorily say we have understood this concept of surface area to volume ratio, and we can now explain when we have a smaller organism, we should clearly explain why it has a large surface area to volume ratio, and therefore why it can easily transport materials as compared to a larger organism which has a small surface area to volume ratio. Therefore, it needs a more complex mechanism to transport materials. I hope we are fine with that. Before I go to the next part, you'll simply reply using a thumbs up. To show that. Okay, I have here Prisk. Is it Prisky? Oh, okay. Unmute. Prisk, unmute.
Master, pardon.
What should I pardon?
On what on here to compare gond tube size and gond.
have you mastered how to get the surface area to volume ratio for the two different organisms?
Yes.
So what should I pardon? The conclusion was those organisms which are small, like the rat, has a large surface area to volume ratio, like we saw it had 6. While the large organism, which was human, had a small surface area of 3. And because if an organism has a small surface area to volume ratio, it means that it needs a more complex mechanism to solve its challenges of transport. While if an organism has a large surface area to volume ratio like a rat, it means that it does not require a complex mechanism to transport its materials. But of course, I didn't simply want to use a rat here because a rat is also a large animal. But if we're using a rather small animal like a tick, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
I just feel you're not okay. But anyway, we can interact as we go on still, so that you can master it well. Okay, so let's go to our second part of the lesson, which is the critical need for the transport system. So we have been justifying why we need a transport system for us humans with a small surface area to volume ratio. And then here I've just given you a simple imagination. So imagine a bustling city where every citizen needs to get food, needs to get water, needs to dispose of their wastes. It means that if that is in that kind of city, if you don't have any ways where those citizens can pass, then it means that you will have a build-up of of materials. For example, if it is waste, it means that you will not have anywhere to move, to move through to take them away. And also it means that you will not easily access the food from the market. So if everyone had to walk everywhere, so so it means that the city would quickly grind to a halt. Similarly in large organisms, uh, just a moment. Similarly, in large organisms, specialized transport systems are essential for survival. These systems act like the roads and vehicles of the body, ensuring everything gets to where it is needed to be quickly and efficiently. I'll hear from Senabulia. Sami. Yes, Sami? Oh, he went off. It's okay. So, so that was just a clear scenario showing you how what would happen if we didn't need a complex transport system. It means that materials wouldn't move very fast, just like we gave the scenario of a city there. If there are no roads, the roads are very poor, or you've got a very great barrier making it difficult for you to move from one place to another. It means that you will not easily pick the food, you not easily dispose of the waste, and therefore that would bring up a very great challenge to the organism. So we need the transport system. Why? Because we must materials transport. We must transport the materials from one point to another. And here, let's briefly go through why it is critical. Let's start with the materials transported in animals. So animals transport systems are responsible for moving diverse array of vital substances throughout the body. Without these systems, cells would starve and become poisoned by their own wastes. So you can imagine if we're not eating, if we're not able to have these transport mechanisms, one would mean that the waste you're building up, you're eating food, and the food is also having some materials which cannot be taken into the body. And these materials must be gotten
Excuse
rid
me,
of.
sir.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon to you.
These words are very tiny that it is difficult for us to read them. I was requesting for you to enlarge them a little bit.
Okay. Yes, Neng. I don't know how to pronounce your name rightly. Maybe you'll have to say it to me so that I get the easy one to say.
Teacher, the name is Nengwa. And could you please send us the notes also like online of this year? Like I've even put my email because copying these notes and trying to understand is going to be hard.
Okay, I'll send them. Yes, you can try to unmute.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Your volume is little.
Is
We're asking if you could
okay.
please increase.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Crescent. Crescent.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
I think you're supposed to send us those notes on the WhatsApp group.
I'll do.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Nico.
Excuse me, teacher, could you increase the size of your letters a bit?
Yeah, that's the challenge and everyone is getting, including myself.
Okay. Thank you,
All
teacher.
right. Okay. Of course, apparently you're already in a lesson and putting that font right and whatever, it will take a bit of a longer time. However, maybe I'll request you to listen. I will share the copy of these notes towards the end of this session. Here on the Zoom, I'll also put them in your WhatsApp group so that we can all follow. But for now, I request you just listen. You get the explanation, and then not all pages are like this. It could be only this page because it is too much congested, but others are okay. So you'll bear with me for now, but I will only request you to listen and understand. So the first part of why we need the transport system was materials to be transported in animals, and talked about the transport of materials in terms of wastes. We have excretory wastes, wastes like urea, which is made from deamination or breaking down proteins. When you have eaten a lot of eggs or those sources of proteins, they must be, an excess must be broken off and then be removed. So and some of those wastes are poisonous. So meaning if they are kept within the body, they can poison the body and therefore lead to death of cells. So those materials must be transported, and that's why we need a transport system. Secondly, we need the oxygen and nutrients. We know the role of oxygen. Oxygen is the one which is responsible for during the making of energy. And at any time you don't have enough oxygen, a person can easily die or suffocate. So we need this oxygen transported from the point it is moved through the nose to the point it reaches a particular respiring cell. We also need nutrients. Nutrients can be got from food, or sometimes they are made within the body. But for them to be moved from the point where they are made, or from the point where they have been, for example, in the digestive system, to a particular point which needs them, they need a transport system, which must be done by the circulatory system. And then wastes and and hormones. So we also have a number of wastes which must be transported. Waste can be like carbon dioxide. Remember, as oxygen is going to the particular cell to be used in the process of making energy, you also make carbon dioxide in the process. So that carbon dioxide must be transported from that cell back to the lungs. So the only way it can be transported is through the circulatory system. That's why we need it. We can also transport waste like other waste like urea, which must be sent to the kidneys. Other waste like too much water should be sent through the skin or also through the kidneys still. Also, we transport important hormones which are playing a crucial role in our growth and other important metabolic pathways, like for example, responding to danger particular hormones which must make you happy, particular hormones which must regulate your stress. So all that is done and should be transported by the circulatory system. And then it also limits of diffusion. So as we have explored in the previous lesson, diffusion is only effective over a very short distance in large complex organisms. So like we say, as much as we need a complex transport system, there are some points which also carry out diffusion, but we should note that diffusion only takes place in a short distance. For example, diffusion takes place in the alveoli of the lungs. That one is across a very short distance. So we should also take note that diffusion can also occur in large organisms. And then it is also important in transporting some materials in the body. So this inherent limitation is why dedicated transport systems are indispensable. So this part justifies why we need a transport system. And the things to note are: one, we must transport materials. Two, we must transport oxygen and nutrients. Three, we must transport wastes and hormones. But we have also noted that there are also some cases of simple diffusion taking place in large organisms. However, it only takes place over a short distance. For example, in the alveoli of the lungs. So we have our group discussion here before we can proceed. We're going to discuss what would happen if one of the essential materials, let's say oxygen, nutrients, or waste, could not be transported effectively in a human. How would how would different body systems be affected? We are simply going to type that in our chat room because I will not let everyone talk. Our discussion is what would happen if one of the essential materials like oxygen, nutrients, wastes could not be transported effectively in a human? And how would different body systems be affected? You're simply going to type that. I'm going to read the messages. Nate, I'm not accepting any talking now. Just type your answer there unless you have a different opinion. Okay, yes? The different body systems would not work efficiently. Okay, May, how would they not work efficiently? Infinix, could you please put us two into the group because we would like to get the notes. Okay, I know the host will try to do that, maybe. Most body cells could starve, leaving them to get poisoned by the waste materials. Santos, that's good. Systems like the respiratory system would stop functioning and blood clots. Good, meaning that one would lead to death. Ineffective waste transportation may lead to toxination of the body. Okay, I wish you can use simple English words for us to easily understand, but that's good. I see you have the idea. It might lead to some diseases. Mention the diseases, please. I think we would not have energy because the body needs oxygen to carry out respiration. Good. Because you don't have oxygen, you do not make energy, therefore, you do not have energy indeed. Metabolism would be affected. Please, metabolism is a sum of all processes. So tell me which one specifically. You would get kidney cancer. Okay. Why? It leads to breathing problems. Okay. The different body organs, cells would not be able to carry out respiration for energy. It may lead to respiratory diseases like kidney cancer. Okay. The body might be affected since we need oxygen to breathe as well. Hence, we might die. I want us to get that particular specific process which can be affected, so that it leads to death, okay? It will lead to the deficiency disease. Why? How? iPhone 17, how? Memory loss, how? I want us to speak about the whole problem, where the problem is starting from. Respiration may be difficult. Why? Why respiration shall be difficult, Kathy? Because oxygen shall not reach the respiring cell, meaning no respiration shall take place, so no energy shall be made. It may lead to death. What is leading to death? Now you're the doctor. Asha. I think other parts of the body would be multitasking, like the heart. And what's the problem of that when the heart is multitasking? Max? Lung cancer, I think the part of the body would be multitask. Okay, no, I've read that. Lung cancer, how? Nabukwasi, how? It would trigger the functioning of the neurons of... No. Cardio arrest, no. The whole reason I want is, how are we ending up with death, for example? Or how is some process failing? If oxygen is not transported properly, cells will not be able to. Okay. Granima, the cells may not be able to access. Paula says it may cause stunted growth, since hormones that cause growth in the body may not be able to reach their areas of function. Perfect. That's a very good idea. I want someone to be specific like that and concise. Identify the problem and then the effect. Limited oxygen supply to the brain leads to fainting. Perfect. That's a very good one. If the body cells die, leading to shutting down of the body systems, hence death. Okay. Carbon dioxide changes the pH of cells and may denature. Natasha has brought in a very good idea here. When you're not transporting carbon dioxide, it shall build up, and carbon dioxide reduces the pH, meaning it shall make it acidic, therefore affecting enzymes. That's a very perfect reasoning. Then gaseous exchange will won't occur, hence death. Lizzie, can we try to refine it? I think it may lead to organ failure due to limited supply of needed materials. Like which one specifically? Be specific, okay? For example, if you've not supplied enough oxygen, it means that the liver will not be able to break down toxic wastes to less harmful ones, therefore leading to poisoning of cells. It will lead to difficulty to breathe, since oxygen won't be able to reach the lungs. Okay, so let's keep them coming. That one has been a good stimulant for our brain. But the most important thing to note is, if we have to identify the function of oxygen. For example, oxygen is important in the making of energy. Meaning, if oxygen is not being supplied, then it means that the cells shall not be making energy. Okay? Therefore, that one affects other processes. If you are talking about nutrients, like which nutrients? We talk about nutrients like iron, which is playing a very crucial part in the red blood cell. Meaning, if it is not enough, such a person shall not have enough blood. Therefore, they will not effectively transport oxygen, therefore leading to death. If we talk about wastes like urea or water, if someone is not able to take out water from their body, it means that most of their blood shall be dilute. Okay? And you know that when your blood is having too much water, remember there are some things which you need which move by by osmosis or by another mechanism. Therefore, such materials won't be able to move, therefore leading to death. Okay? So, meaning the whole effect of this when they're not transported is death of cells. Remember, for us in biology, don't talk about the whole death, but death starts from cells. So to put this into perspective, we talk about human endurance activities. Consider an athlete running a marathon. Their body needs a massive and continuous supply of oxygen to their muscles and rapid removal of carbon dioxide. Without an efficient transport system, such extreme endurance would be impossible. The circulatory system works tirelessly to meet these demands. So if it wasn't for the circulatory system, any athlete, we wouldn't be having, like, for example, our national team, which went for AFCON, reached that far where they reached. Why? Because their bodies would not be in a position to endure the 90 minutes of playing the football. So, but because we have a circulatory system, that's why a person is able to be active or to run even for 3 hours or go to the gym and they're active for 3 hours. So that one comes because of the circulatory system. Okay, we shall go to lesson 3. And here we are on unveiling the unveiling the mammalian heart, the circulatory, sorry, I think this one has been covered. Okay, and unveiling the mammalian transport system, or the circulatory system. So we shall start off. Mammals, including humans, possess a highly evolved and efficient transport system known as the circulatory system. The closed system ensures that blood carrying all vital substances circulates throughout the body without ever leaving the network of vessels. It is a marvel of biological engineering. So sometimes you have to, of course, because the things are always happening to us, sometimes you don't even notice that they are taking place. I'm sure, I don't know if someone knows the number of times, the amount of time it takes for the whole circulation in the body to be complete. But these are things which are taking place in our body. And this one is a great engineering which is done by God. So often we have a heart pumping every time, pumping the blood through the blood vessels, which are like our roads or highways, taking blood rich in very many nutrients and materials which are required by the body. But also, as the blood is, delivering the nutrients, it shall also pick the wastes from a particular point they are delivering and then brings it back to the heart. So that one gives us the best picture of how beautiful the biological systems work to make sure that we keep alive. So we shall go through the components of the circulatory system. The circulatory system is mainly made up of 3 parts. That is the heart, blood, and then the blood vessels. And by the end of today, we shall cover all those effectively well. Like I said, anytime you need more clarity on a particular point, you'll have to raise up the hand. So the mammalian circulatory system consists of 3 main components. That's the heart, which acts as a pump. Then the blood, the fluid medium carrying substances, and the blood vessels, the intricate network of tubes through which blood flows. Now, there is this common misconception, of course, like the heart, of course, is the pump. Then, in time, of course, we talk about blood. We often everyone knows that the blood is red. But of course, for now, you should bear in mind that blood comes in 4 main components that we are also going to talk about in detail. Okay, let me hear from Sami. Sami?
Excuse me, Chair. Where do arteries, and capillaries, where do arteries belong?
Where do?
Arteries belong.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, you're going to make a breakdown of all these 3 parts. And he has asked the question that where do arteries belong? Arteries belong to the blood vessels. So, we said the heart is the pump, blood is the medium which carries the materials, and then blood vessels are like highways that are carrying blood. Okay? So, a function of each component plays a specialized role. The heart generates the pressure needed to propel blood. You can think what would happen if we didn't have the heart. Remember, the heart is acting as a pump. So, meaning if we didn't have the heart It means that, remember, the blood is moving to the legs by the help of gravity, for example, if we didn't have the heart. However, for the blood to come back to the heart from the legs or from deep down in the feet, it means that it will need another force to bring it back to the upper part. So it is because of the fact that we have the heart that the blood can move to the feet and it can come back to the heart. Much as the heart alone couldn't manage doing it, we shall also understand the other mechanisms the body does to make sure the blood moves back to the heart. So the heart role is meant to generate that pressure that can push the blood from one point to another. And then the role of blood is to carry oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and wastes. While blood vessels provide the pathway for this transport, directing blood to every tissue and organ. So I didn't have here the diagram of the heart. I mean the diagram of the circulatory system, but I'm also going to give you an assignment task of going to look for that drawing, the colored diagram showing the movement of blood throughout the whole body. So you'll carefully study the diagram of the human circulatory system, identify the major arteries carrying blood away from the heart. Arteries mainly carry blood away from the heart. Then veins bring blood towards the heart. Observe how the system branches out to reach all parts of the body. You're going to find out that on your phones by going to the Google or asking any browser. So you have an activity here. We are going to label the parts. We shall use a blank diagram of the circulatory system. Then you'll accurately label the heart. You'll have to label the major three arteries. That's the aorta. You can name the pulmonary artery from the heart. You can also talk about other arteries there. Veins, the main one is the vena cava, and then the others are the pulmonary vein and the others, and then capillaries. So understand the direction of blood flow in each. Remember we said arteries carry blood away from the heart. So meaning blood first goes to arteries. From arteries, blood doesn't go to veins straight away, but the blood first goes to capillaries. Then from capillaries, it joins back to veins. From veins, the blood comes back to the heart. That's the direction of blood flow. From heart to arteries, from arteries to capillaries, from capillaries to veins, from veins back to heart. A scenario example here is when a patient is in a hospital, needs medication delivered quickly throughout their bodies. And it's often administered intravenously directly into the vein. This demonstrates how medical professionals leverage the efficiency of the circulatory system for rapid distribution, highlighting its critical role in health and treatment. Maybe another point to take home is every time they're administering an injection, they must put it in the vein. Why? Because we say that veins are taking blood back to the heart before that medicine can be pumped to all body parts and, of course, specifically reach the particular parts it must go to. What do you think would happen if the blood was instead sent to the artery? It means that that blood might go to a wrong place, meaning it will not be able to be used effectively. So that's why. And of course, also another thing to note is veins are usually found on the surface, while arteries are found underneath the skin. Someone put up the hand. I think it was a mistake. Okay, so we can proceed to our fourth lesson, which is the heart, your body's indispensable pump. The heart is more than just a symbol of love. I know we often relate the heart with love. Anytime a person is doing something good for you, say they have a very good heart. When someone wants to give love, they say, my heart loves you. Okay, I'll first hear from Oliver. Yes, Oliver? Oliver?
Are you getting me?
I can hear you now.
I was just suggesting people should be slow.
Oh, I'm very fast.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to put in the aspect of time. It's okay. I'll try to be slow.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I was saying, anytime we talk about the heart, we often relate the heart with love. We know that it's the heart that loves, it's the heart that gives the better attitude, and all others. But it is a powerful muscle responsible for pumping blood. So for us here, biologically, we shall talk about its role as a pump, generating the pressure to push blood throughout the body. And then therefore understanding its structure is key to appreciating its incredible function. So you're going to understand the structure of the heart. I know this is a 3D heart, but I know you've been drawing the one dimension in your books. And that's just part of the structure of the heart. The weight is, of course, usually for you draw it in one dimension, but in 3 dimension it might look like that. And here we shall make up chambers and then blood flow through it. The position of the heart and the size of the heart. So your heart is located roughly in the center of your chest. I know everyone should be touching there. Near the center of your chest, slightly to the left, nestled between your lungs. It is about the size of your clenched fist. Meaning when you try to fold a fist, well, like when you're forming a blow. Yes. And when you fold your fist like this to make, like when you're going to blow up someone, that's the size of your heart, roughly. Yet it performs a monumental task, beating approximately 100,000 times a day. That's the number of heartbeats your heart might make in just a day, 100,000 times. So I think we can now put in a picture the size of the heart, where it is found, and how many times it beats in a day. You can of course equate to hours and minutes. Okay, Ruth Pal. Yes, Ruth? Ruth? Oh.
Okay. Sir, your speed is a bit fast.
I'm trying to be slow, so I'll try to be slow. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right. So on the position and the size of the heart, you said the heart is found roughly in the center of your chest, slightly to the left, nestled between your lungs, and is about the size of your clenched fist. When you fold your palm like this, when you're forming a blow, that's the size of your heart. But society also performs a monumental task of beating approximately 100,000 times in a day. And I said you can break that down into an hour, into minutes, to get the specific number of heartbeats it makes. So we shall go to the heart. The heart has chambers and valves. Of course, the heart is a four-chambered organ. Here we're talking about the one for a human being. It is a four-chambered organ. The two upper chambers are the atria. In plural, we call them the atrium. In plural, we call them the atria. Then in singular, we call it atrium. and the two lower chambers are the ventricles. Okay. Valves act as one-way gate, ensuring blood flows in the correct direction and preventing backflow. Meaning, if it wasn't for the valves, blood wouldn't be moving in one direction. So if as blood is flowing from one chamber to another, it shouldn't return to the previous chamber. Why? Because the valves shall try to close to prevent it from going back, so that it can only continue in one direction. Yes, Trishili. Yes.
Does the heart depend on the size of an organism, or it's the same size in all organisms?
Okay, good question. The heart, just like we talked about surface area to volume ratio, the bigger the organism, the more complex its parts. For example, a fetus still in the mother's womb, the number of chambers in their heart are not the same as an adult human being. The same. The size, the size of the heart in let's say a rat shall not be the same size as a human being. So meaning the heart of, let's say, actually, I'll give you an example of the heart of a whale, the blue whale. The size of the heart of a blue whale is almost the size of a small car, a Mark X or a Mark 10. Meaning, as the organism increases in size, the size of the heart also increases. But here we're only talking about the aspect of the human being, okay? Okay, Nico. Yes, Nico?
Teacher, I have a question. Is the
Yes.
heart structure different in different organisms?
Yes, the heart structure is different in different organisms. For example, amphibians have their heart different from the one of human beings. But usually the difference occurs from moving from one class to another. For example, fish, mammals, reptiles, like that, okay? But some of them are similar, but it only differs because of the class and also the level of development of an organism. However, the whole baseline is the heart performs the role of developing the pressure, which can help the fluid to be moved from one point to another. So let's go to the blood flow through the heart. Now, the oxygenated blood enters the right atrium. Where someone is facing you, okay? So on the right atrium, we have the vena cava, which is the main vein. And then, so mainly blood shall, remember the main vein brings all the oxygenated blood from all body parts, both the anterior region or the head region and the inferior region, the lower abdomen region. So that blood shall enter the right atrium through the vena cava, then shall flow to the right ventricle, and then it is pumped to the lungs. Meaning the whole of the right atrium is having deoxygenated blood. In other words, blood which is rich in carbon dioxide and wastes. Then when the blood has been pumped to the lungs, it shall pick oxygen and shall come back as oxygenated and shall return through the left atrium, passing through the pulmonary vein. Shall move to the left ventricle and shall be powerfully pumped to the rest of the body. This two-circuit system ensures efficient oxygen delivery to all body parts. I'll repeat this. We say that when the deoxygenated blood comes from all body parts it comes through the it comes through the main vein, which is called the vena cava, and shall enter shall enter the heart and shall first reach the right atrium. The valves shall open, making the blood find its way to the ventricles. Then the blood shall be pumped through the pulmonary artery to go to the lungs to pick oxygen. When the blood has picked oxygen, it shall move back through the pulmonary vein, and the blood shall find its way to the left atrium. The valves shall open, then the blood shall go to the left ventricles. From left ventricles, the blood shall be pumped strongly to all body parts through the aorta. It is because of this intricate mechanism that the blood is transported to all body parts. We shall go to the activity. You're going to draw a simplified diagram of the human heart. You are going to label all of the 4 chambers: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. The major blood vessels entering and leaving the heart: vena cava, aorta, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, and the key valves: the tricuspid, mitral, and then pulmonary and aortic. So you're going to find for me that, maybe to simply let you know where they are found, bicuspid are short and more stronger, so they are found in the left ventricle. And then tricuspid are more longer and they occur in 3 flaps. So those ones are found in the right, they are found in the right side of the heart. And then aortic are found just below the aorta. The only valves found in arteries. Okay. Mitral valves are the bicuspid. Sometimes they are called pocket valves. Okay. Yeah. Then health awareness. And here the most important thing we are supposed to note is that maintaining a healthy heart is crucial for a long and active life. And as a student, it's good for you to do the following: regularly exercise, eat a balanced diet, and then avoid smoking. All those ones are vital for a healthy cardiovascular system. In Uganda, understanding heart health can empower individuals to make choices that prevent heart-related diseases or illnesses. So as we are learning, the beauty of it is you should learn to care for your heart. You're going to learn about some of the mechanisms you can do to care for your heart. And most importantly, one of these days, the key causes of heart diseases are stress, and stress which comes because of a number of factors. So maybe we shall talk about that as we go on. So I go to the next section, which is 5. And here we are going to talk about the, sorry. Okay, we are going to go through the rhythmic life. And definitely we're going to talk about how the heart works. I hope I'm now and we are following greatly. So you're going to understand how the heart works and the rhythmic life. Often you don't even listen to your heartbeat, yet it is doing so. So the heart is a continuous pumping. The heart is continuous pumping action is an incredible feat of biology, orchestrated by a precise sequence of events known as the cardiac cycle. The cycle keeps blood flowing, delivering life, sustaining oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your body. So the mechanism through which the heart works is what is called the cardiac cycle. And I say that because this is an involuntary action, you've never even listen to your heartbeat, yet it will be listening every time. But because it is involuntary, you often don't follow it up. So the process through which the heart works is called the cardiac cycle. And this is important in delivering blood, reaching oxygen and nutrients to all corners of the body. And then we are going to briefly handle that, how it works. Number one, you're going to talk about the cardiac cycle stages. Now, the cardiac cycle consists of two main phases. Often, someone who could have gone for, someone here knows their blood pressure. Often, when you go for for the blood pressure test, they will often give you two figures. One on up, one on top of, because they occur in fraction form. One up as a denominator, I don't know, but you have a denominator and a numerator. So I really forgot that math. I don't know which one is the denominator and which one is the numerator, but one shall be up, then the other down. Often you get those two figures. So it is very wrong when you ask someone that what's your blood pressure, then they give you one figure. For example, they tell you I have 10 millimeters mercury. That is wrong. The figures for blood pressure occur in two, and they occur in fraction form. One up, one down. Why they occur in that? Because the cardiac cycle is measured in two cycles or two phases. The first phase is called the diastole or diastole phase. Diastole is, to simply say it means relaxation phase of the heart muscles. That time when the heart relaxes. And then we also have the systole or the contraction phase. During contraction, it means that the heart contracts. So during diastole, the heart chambers will the heart chambers fill with blood. So that's what happens during diastole. While during systole, the chambers contract, pushing blood out. So these phases occur rapidly and rhythmically. And because of the whole sum of that, that's when we get what we call a heartbeat. The contraction and relaxation, which you commonly call the diastole and systole in the cardiac or in the cardiology language. So often the key point to take home here is that it is because of the diastole and systole that our blood pressure gets two figures. So anytime you go for checkup, it's also important to know your blood pressure. I think it shall be a good milestone for you. More so if you go back next time when you know your blood pressure. It is good for you. They will advise you on which one is a healthy one and which one is unhealthy. Number two, we go to the heartbeat and pulse. Each complete cardiac cycle produces a heartbeat. The sound of a heartbeat comes from the closing of the heart valves. So you don't hear that sound because of the contraction or relaxation, no. The heart sound comes because of the closing of valves. Okay? And they are those which produce the heartbeat. So anytime a complete cycle has taken place, the valves close. Therefore, and dab. The pulse you feel in your wrist or neck, I think you can feel that. Sometimes it is even just found that the brachial artery is here near your armpit, more so on the left one. You can feel that pulse. So that one you feel in your wrist or neck is the wave of blood propelled through your arteries with each beat of your heart. So that one is what we call the recoil. After the contraction taking place, still that pressure is moved within the arteries. And because of that pressure moving within the arteries, that's what you feel in the wrists. You can sometimes feel it at the neck. And so that's what we call the pulse. I'll first listen from someone here. I think they have something to ask. Yes? ITEL S6611L.
Teacher, you are too speedy again.
Oh, sorry. Should I just continue? I repeat something.
You repeat.
What should I repeat?
From where you are from just now.
Okay. Trisha?
I would like to know the difference between a heartbeat and a pulse.
Okay. Okay, a heartbeat comes when a complete cardiac cycle has happened. It produces a heartbeat, and the heartbeat comes because of the closing of the heart valves. There are two of them that close, bringing up the sound. Okay. Now, that recoil, that pressure which moves within the arteries. Remember, the arteries are small and more muscular. Just like when you pour water in some tube, that pressure shall be felt in the tube. Okay? So that pressure which goes with the tube that was generated at the point of the pump, for example, of water, that pressure which goes within the tube that makes the tube have that sound, that's the one we shall call the pulse. And this one is only found in the arteries. Okay? So you often get it usually when they are taking your blood pressure measurements. They often use the branchial artery found in your left, in your upper left, in your upper arm, your left upper arm. Usually they take the measurement from there. Who is this? Venus, yes? Venus?
Good afternoon, teacher.
Don't you?
I was requesting to know what
Yeah.
does reduced heart rate mean and how is it related to high blood pressure?
What is
Reduced heart rate.
reduced heart rate? Okay. Now, just like we began earlier, we said that the number of heartbeats made in a day should be 100,000 something. There are some people who, of course, who don't make those figures. And of course, all this happens because of your activities. Sometimes can be related with illness or something. But most importantly, if anytime you have an illness or you have other factors coming in like maybe exercise or there could be other factors which can come in, they can easily affect your heartbeat. And of course, the most important thing, that's why I say that anytime you have to go for medical checkup to check your blood pressure. When your blood pressure goes so low, it means that your heartbeat is going to be affected. Okay, and usually those figures, they are not consistent. Like usually the ideal is 120 over 80. 120 the contraction or the systolic, and then 80 for diastolic. But also, usually this lower one is not a very big factor, the diastolic. Usually the bigger one is the upper one, the systolic. Usually when you say someone has a high blood pressure, it means that the systolic figure has gone so high. Okay. But also when the systolic goes so low, it means that the blood will not reach the particular part in time. Therefore, it might end up, such a person might end up with a stroke, which is not desired. So usually people who have a decreased heart rate might easily end up with a stroke. And usually that's, of course, that's bad news to any person. So I'll proceed to effect of exercise on the heartbeat rate. And this is a common scenario usually. So during exercise, your muscles demand more oxygen and nutrients. So to meet this increased demand, your heart beats faster and stronger, increasing your heart rate and the volume of blood pumped per minute, the one we call cardiac output. So this demonstrates the heart's adaptability to physiological stress. This one might not only work for exercise, though of course because we mostly relate it with exercise because the common thing we can all do, because it's recommended that every week you must at least exercise for at least I think 5 hours or something. The higher than hours, the better. So, but the whole importance of this is anytime you're doing an extensive or intensive activity, the heartbeat must increase simply to meet the demands of that activity. Otherwise, if it doesn't increase, it means that you will easily faint. That's why sometimes when someone is scared out of the blues, they can easily collapse. Why? It simply means that the supply of energy to the cells to make that person react was not enough, simply because the oxygen was not enough. Therefore, they just collapse. And this also works if someone is, you have ever seen people collapse. It doesn't mean that such people are fainting, having epilepsy or something, but it simply means that the oxygen supply to them is not enough. Okay, therefore, the brain responds by switching off some parts, therefore making you inactive. Usually, when such people are put in an open area, they easily regain their consciousness. So that one is simply a physiology for the body to respond to stress. So the most important things to note here are effect of exercise on heartbeat rate, where it increases. It is also the same when a person has been exposed to danger. It also increases. Understand the difference between heartbeat and pulse, and then understand the cardiac cycle, simply referring to the relaxation and contraction phases. They are very important. So let's go to an activity here, pulse rate measurements. And this one, you're going to do it, and for all these activities, you're going to do them and you send it to my WhatsApp or my email. So pulse rate measurements, is it Favor or who? Yes, Favor?
Teacher,
Yes.
I've not understood something. You said that, okay, why does your heart beat so fast when you're fearing? Like maybe when you're afraid of something, it starts beating very fast. Why does it happen?
Okay. Like I said, usually that is a response, okay? The reason that's why the heart beats fast is because the heart can be triggered because of what is happening in your body. For example, usually when you're scared, there is a lot of adrenaline. Adrenaline is a hormone which prepares your body for flight. Often you've ever seen this, that someone can be totally ill in your class there, but should a snake fall from the ceiling, such a person might be even the first to reach outside. Why? Because there is what we call adrenaline rush. Like the body makes a lot of adrenaline through the adrenal glands found at the top on the roof of the kidneys, and the effect of adrenaline on the heart, it increases the heartbeat rate by affecting the sinoatrial node. So when the heartbeat rate increases, it means that oxygen shall be readily supplied to the respiring muscle cells, therefore giving you a lot of energy. So meaning anytime there is a lot of adrenaline in your blood, it shall increase the heartbeat rate. I know you are going to do that when you reach coordination in this senior 3 in third term. Okay, there is Senabulia, Ramla. Yes?
Yeah, like, excuse me, teacher, why does the heart react faster than other body parts?
Why does?
The heart react faster than other body parts.
Okay, I'll answer that. Ramla?
Okay, excuse me, sir. Why is it that most people faint during cold days and most especially girls, not boys?
Okay. Let me first answer that before I can go to another person. Sunny said that why does the heart always react very fast? Now remember, the heart is down supplying the blood. And when the heart is not functioning, it means that you're going to die, because remember, all body parts need oxygen because they have cells that must respire. So anytime something happens, the heart and the brain must come into action very fast to solve that problem. That's why the heart must respond very fast. And then who, I've just forgotten the name. Someone asked that why do girls faint so much? Now the fainting there, which fainting? Like, otherwise, the main fainting here to explain in line with the heartbeat or through the circulatory system is someone who faints when when the cells are not being effectively supplied by oxygen. That's when the brain instructs, switches off to help the body lower its metabolic activity. Otherwise, of course, totally men are more adapted in terms of that. But that one has no sex. Fainting has no sex. The only factor is when the oxygen supply to the cells is not sufficient. That's when a person can faint, simply because of anoxia. It has no sex, okay? S.66, 11L. Yes? ITEL? Can you unmute? I want to proceed. Okay. Seems they put it on by mistake. So let's proceed. We have here an activity. You're going to work in pairs to measure your resting pulse rate. Okay? Meaning you're going to count the number of heartbeats when you're resting. I don't know who you're going. You're going to work with another person or you're going to work alone. Then you're going to engage in light physical activity for like 2 minutes or 3. Then you also count your heartbeat in a minute. And then you measure your pulse rate immediately after. And then you're going to observe and record the changes. Then you discuss with the changes that will occur. I mean why those changes occur. You have said you're going to send all those responses to my WhatsApp. It is just at the first page of the work there. So Nengwa.
So you said that you're going to send it on your WhatsApp, and it was like on the first page. And then like we tried to
Yes.
join the group, but it's full.
Okay, I'm also going to send it here. 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 You download it from Zoom.
Excuse me, teacher. Excuse me,
Yes.
teacher. Like in our
Yes.
school, we carry out blood donation, but some people faint like after getting blood. Like, why did they faint after getting blood?
Okay, we're also going to answer that. Remember, I said the whole reason why someone is fainting is not having a sufficient supply of oxygen. And remember, for any mils of blood you're removing from the body, you're picking some oxygen. Okay? Therefore, that person is going to definitely faint because some of the oxygen has been taken out from them. But you're also going to answer that in detail towards the end when you talk about blood transfusion. Yes, there is ITEL S6.
Why do girls faint most?
Oh, I clearly say that fainting is not related with sex. Okay? It's not. So we are going to answer that maybe, but we can definitely handle that during coordination one time, and then we try to find out why girls faint more, because their adversity quotient is not as high as for boys. Please, if you've already asked your question, you lower down the answer to other people. I can see other people also. Ramla?
Okay, so I wanted to ask, why is it that most people faint during cold days?
Cold days?
Eh,
Cold days. Now, usually there is, okay. On cold days, there is fainting and responding to an allergy of cold. There are two different. There is cold pollen in the atmosphere, often which triggers inflammation, is causing an allergic reaction. Most of those people who are allergic. But if you're normal, then you might not faint. No. Yes, Elon?
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask that why is it true that drinking water after a strong race can lead to death?
Oh, okay. That's a good question, by the way. There are always these things like after the race, don't take glucose. After the race, don't take water. Now, usually, the best practice is the best practice is always after a strong race. Of course, you've lost a lot of water through sweating, and then your body is also making glucose on its own. I mean, it is breaking down some stored glycogen to make sure that materials are available for making energy. Usually, the best practice is don't take water immediately after the race. Why? Remember, the body can self-sustain itself. Meaning, anytime you're just taking in water from the blues, you're making it weak. That's why the science behind is let the body first fix itself, then you'll give the water later. Okay, so that's why usually they say that after the race, don't again take the glucose orally. No, why? Because the body is already making its own glucose, and when you just rest like for 10 minutes, it shall come back to normal by itself. But when you take in the glucose, you're making it weak, meaning next time you run a race, you'll still need the glucose, otherwise the body will not synthesize its own from the stored one. That's why it is a better practice not to take it in. It's just a better practice, but it doesn't mean that when you take, you're going to die. Okay? So for water also, it is the same. The body will be trying to look for water sources within the body to restore itself. Usually the best is to let the body solve it by itself first before you take it later, like after 10 minutes after cooling off. It is better for you. Otherwise, if you do that immediately, you try to make the body weak, and which is not good for it. Okay, I'm getting the last one from Liz. Then I can proceed to lesson 6. Yes, Liz? Okay, she's away. So I can proceed? No, Bellingham, Lizzie, Itel, no. We shall talk later. Okay, so let's go to the aspect here. Elite athletes often have a lower resting heart rates compared to non-athletes. This is because their hearts are more efficient, capable of pumping more blood with each beat, allowing them to maintain peak performance for longer periods. Their cardiovascular systems are highly conditioned. So I'll give you just an example. For you who doesn't like always practice, should they ask you to run, you'll just run for a few meters and then you start breathing heavily and then the heartbeat is all high. But for someone who often practices, they often have a uniform breathing rate and also have a uniform heart rate. That's why when you're racing such people, you're going for a marathon or you're going for this one of rotating the field. Often for them, they will start slower, but uniformly. But for you who doesn't practice, you will start by running very fast, and within the second lap, you're already tired because you don't know how to pace. You don't have a uniform heart rate. But for them, because they practice, they have a uniform heart rate. So that one signifies why there is need for practice before you exercise. That's why we often start with a warm up. After a warm up, then you go to the real activity. The reason for a warm up is to prepare the body to generate a pace and then get a uniform heart rate. So, for you to become better athlete, you must do physical exercise and you must practice so that you can teach your heart to be at a uniform heart rate and also a breathing rate. That's why those professional athletes are good at pacing and they can easily run faster or even go for longer races as compared to those ones who are not professional. Okay, let's go to our lesson 6. So And lesson 6, we shall talk about the body's road network. Here I'm going to be a bit faster. I see we are left with only 7 minutes to the end of our lesson, and yet we have more 4 slides to come. So here I'll be a bit faster. You'll excuse me for that. So the body's road network, exploring blood vessels. Just as a city needs an efficient road network to function, also your body relies on a vast and intricate system of blood vessels to transport blood. These vessels are not all the same. Each type has a specialized structure perfectly adapted to its unique role in circulation. So here we mainly have 3 parts. Those are the arteries, veins, and capillaries. I already talked about the process or the line the blood takes. So it moves from the heart to arteries, then to capillaries, to veins, back to the heart. So there are 3 main types of blood vessels. Those are arteries that carry blood away from the heart, veins which carry blood towards the heart, and then capillaries. These are tiny vessels that connect arteries and veins, facilitating the exchange with tissues. So the main purpose of the capillaries, it is at that site of the capillaries that exchange of materials takes place. Okay, so usually that's where the exchange of materials actually takes place, at the capillary site. So structures related to the functions: arteries have thick, muscular, elastic walls to withstand high pressure from the heart, while veins have thinner walls and often contain valves to prevent backflow of blood, especially against gravity. Capillaries have extremely thin walls, 1 cell thick, to allow the efficient diffusion of gases, nutrients, and waste products. So that's the main thing. You should know that arteries are having thick and muscular elastic walls, mainly to withstand the pressure. Remember here, the blood is coming with very high pressure from the heartbeat. Therefore, if the the walls are not strong enough, they can't withstand it. Otherwise, they would just tear and pour out the blood, leading to internal bleeding, which can lead to death. While veins are thin, have thinner walls, and then they often have valves that prevent backflow of blood. While capillaries have very thin walls, which are almost 1 millimeter thick. They are like very thin, and the purpose of that is to enable exchange of materials from blood to the surrounding. Let's go have a quick comparison here between the blood vessels. Of course, we shall talk about it in terms of direction of blood flow. Arteries, they carry blood away from the heart, while veins, they carry it towards the heart. And then when you're using wall thickness, remember I said that the arteries are having thicker muscular elastic walls, while the veins are having thinner, less muscular walls. And then when you are talking about the blood pressure, arteries are having blood pressure in the arteries is higher, while the blood pressure in the veins is lower. And when we are talking about in terms of presence of valves, arteries don't have valves, except the valves which are found at the base of the aorta, the ones we call the aortic valves. Then in veins, they have valves in the limbs and torso. Then activity, we are going to matching exercise. We are going to match descriptions of blood vessel characteristics. Very thin walls, carries oxygenated blood away from the heart, contains valves to the correct type of blood vessel, artery, vein, or capillary. Now you can do that. And then in medical examples, doctors use different blood vessels for various medical procedures. For instance, blood pressure is typically measured in an artery. I told that they often put it on your left upper arm to get the pulse in the branchial artery. While blood samples are usually drawn from veins, all those blood samples they are making on you, they are drawn on veins. Why I said veins are always found nearer the skin. And then these practices are based on the distinct structure and functional differences of each vessel type. So they don't simply draw from there for fun, but they base on some structural differences behind it. So that's why we must know them, because in the future you'll be doctors, I'm sure. That's your aspiration. Let's go to lesson 7, blood. And here the blood is much more than just a red liquid. It is a complex dynamic tissue that performs multitude of vital functions, making it truly the river of life that flows within our bodies. It transports everything necessary for survival and maintains internal balance. So I have the plasma. The plasma is a yellowish liquid, makes up to about 55% of blood volume. It is mostly water, but contains dissolved proteins, glucose, minerals, hormones, carbon dioxide, and blood cells. And then we have red blood cells. These ones sometimes are called erythrocytes. These ones are biconcave, disc-shaped, and their main role is to carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. And then you have white blood cells. They're often called leukocytes. And these ones are large and less numerous. Of course, these ones only increase in size when someone is ill. Otherwise, when someone is normal, their numbers are very small. And these ones, their role is mainly to fight against pathogens. And then platelets, they are sometimes called thrombocytes. And these ones are smaller and irregularly shaped. They often perform the role of blood clotting. There are many other functions of blood: transport of oxygen, transport of carbon dioxide, transport of hormones, regulation of blood temperature, and they also protect against diseases and then clotting. Here we have a malaria context in Uganda. Understanding blood components is particularly relevant due to the prevalence of malaria. The parasitic disease specifically targets red blood cells, leading to symptoms of like anemia and fever. That's why you often see that when someone is having malaria, they often and during treatment they often urinate reddish urine, meaning a lot of blood cells have been affected by the plasmodium. That's why it reduces like that. We are going to talk about guarding your heart, and I think we are going to end here. Heart diseases, also known as cardiovascular diseases, are a group of diseases that affect the heart and blood vessels. They are a leading cause of death worldwide, but many are preventable through lifestyle. The beauty of it is most of these diseases can be prevented using lifestyle. Okay. The most common diseases are high blood pressure. This occurs when the force of blood against your artery walls is consistently too high. Over the time, it can damage arteries, leading to heart attack, stroke, and kidney disease. It often has no symptoms, earning its name, the silent killer. So often high blood pressure has no symptoms. It just kills you silently. So it is very common. That's why it is important to go for medical checkups. We have coronary heart disease. This one results from the narrowing of the coronary arteries, which supply blood to the heart muscle. This narrowing is usually caused by a buildup of plaque. Plaque is it's sometimes called atherosclerosis, reducing blood flow and potentially leading to angina or chest pain, a heart attack. And then lastly, we have stroke. A stroke occurs when the blood is supply to the part of your brain is interrupted or severely reduced, depriving brain tissue of oxygen and nutrients. So this can happen due to the blocked artery, the scenario we call ischemic stroke, or bleeding artery, the one we call hemorrhagic stroke, leading to brain cell death. So the most important thing to note here is how do we prevent this? So the good news is that many heart diseases can be prevented or managed through health habits. One, maintain a healthy diet rich in nutrients. Rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Whole grains means like rice. Okay, you leave alone the polished ones. Then engage in regular physical activity at least 30 minutes a day. And then avoid smoking and excessive alcohol consumption. Most importantly, manage your stress. Okay, because stress is among the leading causes of heart diseases, and get regular medical checkups to monitor your blood pressure. So the beauty of it is that in Uganda, we can readily get this food, which is good for our heart. But instead, we like going and buying packaged foods from the supermarkets, which often has adverse effects with our heart. So it's good to get more food from plants than more food from the supermarket. It's good for you. Because of time, I'm not going to finish up the next two slides. Mainly the next two slides, we're going to have the blood transfusion, and then the unsung hero, the lymphatic system. But because of time, we shall not reach there. So for now, I'm going to stop. Next time, we shall catch up from there next week, hopefully. For now, I'm going to do two things. One, to get your questions, and then I give quick answers. Secondly, I'm going to share the notes here before I can share them in a WhatsApp group. So I'm going to start with the Isabella. You give a quick question and yes, Isabella.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Could you send us your email so that we can send you the assignments via email?
Yeah, that's why I'm sending this PDF such that you can get the whole work with the activities, and then you also get the email on the first page of the work.
Thank you, teacher.
All right. Oh, next one. Okay. Isabella. Isabella. Did I get it well, Isabella? Yeah, I think there are no more questions. Or they'll put them in the chat. Okay, let me upload here the 300. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm uploading the notes. I'm doing that in a quick. Okay, I hope there they come. I hope each one can download it before we end the. Have you got the notes? Can you end those discussions in the in the chat, and then we all get the notes? So download them. Yeah, you can download them. Okay. Think we shall come to the end of our session today. Our time is already used up, so we can meet up tomorrow. Next time, definitely. All right. See you all.